Do you follow? Some of the people, they go to in politics not because they want to serve, but because they want to place themselves in a better position so they can gain for themselves. And then that way they can pretend they're doing something for you, but in reality they earn it for themselves. That's why you see all the politicians done out there. I don't recall any of them that's not doing that. You follow? Maybe there are some good ones out there, I don't know. But now if you look, you can see all of them are rich. There's not a politician serving either in the Senate of the United States of America or Congress of America or any capacity in the government, who not rich. Especially those who are career politicians. They've been there for 30 plus years. There's one of them that actually over, I think, 90 years still serving. It's kind of like sad to see that. Why is it that it's because you're so good in your service and everything? No, I don't think so. I think mostly, if it's not 100%, but I think a big percentage of 80 to 90% of it is because they earn it for themselves. So they can secure, a good life for themselves and their families. And then, they done little for what they were elected. And then because they represent you as their constituents, they really do not do a very good job about that. They represent their special interests, those who give them money. But my goodness, how do I transition from teaching this to politics? But you know what I'm talking about, because it's part of the journey also. I use that as an example. There are other things out there for those of you who may not be in politics, but you're doing some things you're not really helping. It's all about you. You create, an environment where it's all about you. No, we're not supposed to be like outside. It is. For those of you who are Christians, especially those who are on mission field, or whatever capacity God is calling you to serve, and then using that position that you have in order to, to do something that's not supposed to do. That's very sad. And listen, it really hurts me to see that. I'm not judging anybody, but based on what we talked about earlier, if you were to do your daily inventory, some of the things you would have been able to prevent them from happening to you, from happening to your ministries. Very recently I saw on Facebook, somebody posted there was I don't know exactly what state it happens, but there's this assembly, this local church in a community where the police had to come in. Why? Because the congregation were fighting, with the pastor in the church, and they're fighting with the pastor. They asked him to step down. He refused to step down. The reason being because the pastor, had an affair with another. I don't know if it's a member of the church, but another person in the church, a woman in the church. And then he brought that woman to sit right there in the church, even when his wife is still there. Now, to get matter worse, the woman got pregnant. See, so because of that, they think this is something that they're not supposed to tolerate. So they're asking the pastor to step. The pastor came into the service. They said, "We are not going to listen to you because you are not worthy to be our pastor anymore. You should step down." And then he took the microphone. He started talking to people, and the whole congregation just stood up and said, "Okay, you need to go." So the pastor is saying, "Okay, I'm not going to go." And so forth, and that's how the police was called, so they could, come to bring peace among them. So I don't know the rest of the story, but I think this is what we don't want to happen. I'm not saying this just because I want to, talk down on this church and congregation, but And I don't want to hold it back, because the reason being, because we need to know things like that. And the reason being so that we won't do things like that. That's why we need to know him. Because now you would not accept that. But although he's still a human being, he only made a mistakes. He alone can deal with God to stand accountable, for what he's done. But I'm not going to judge him for that. But I think, there's a certain level of, I would say, of purity that we need to maintain when it comes to the affairs of a local church, because we're supposed to be blameless. Because as a minister of the gospel, there's a certain level of chastity you need to have. That way, nobody can point a finger at you to blame. Because if you're doing something like that, what else that you're doing that people don't know? That's number one. And second of all, you're giving people access to do all kinds of other things. How would you going to lead them into the right? Because remember, being a pastor of the church, it's the euphemism for this word called shepherd. You know what I mean? What does a shepherd do? A shepherd leads you to the right path. So how come a blind, that's what Jesus says, how can a blind man lead another blind? What happens? If he falls in the ditch, he's going to lead the other person in the ditch. It takes somebody who's not blind that can lead someone who is not blind. I guess I've said a lot. The only thing that remains to be said is for you guys to go online and to Amazon, like that's what I was trying to do earlier, to go Amazon book, and then to see if you'll be able to find Amazon. So when you get to that place, you'll be able to see if you can find Amazon. So you can see if there's when you put my name there, see if you give you access to my book, the new one. I came here. I'm trying to figure out where to find it. And then so I see some right here, but I'm not seeing the one that I just don't understand. Maybe he doesn't want me to show you things because I've done it all the time. You go to Amazon, and then while you go into Amazon, it says you that, and then you go for this, and then now for some reason, I cannot find it. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why. It's just it's just kind of like saying, okay, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. So I am encouraging you to do that. Let me see if he gives me. I'm putting Amazon.com. See if he. And you see that little search box right here. When you click on that, it should give you an opportunity to go on Amazon, but it kicks you out. It goes somewhere else. And I'm not able to do that. I don't understand why. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand why it keeps going to my Google, not Google, I go to Google. Google's supposed to give you that. When you're searching something, you're supposed to get it. Okay, this is the one that you needed. Yeah, like that. The site. See where it says Amazon right here? So you can put my name here. I guess it was me, probably. I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, you see, you type my name. And then here you go. Then you give you some other name there. Still not doing that. So if I put books, Pierre Fenelon, so here it is. Here's the book right here. See the book? So you can see it. So you go on Amazon right here, you can type on this thing, and there's the book. See it? So it's on Amazon right now. So for you, I need you to go there. I finally get it. Thank God for that. Sorry about that, folks. I had to go through all this to find it. So now here's what I would like for you. This is the formats you can find the book on Amazon. You got the paperback and also the hard cover of the book. And the paperback is about $21.95, and the other one is $32.95. Okay, so you can hit the hard card so you can get as many as you want, or you can say buy now and then you pay for it. Okay, and you can do that. So what you can do when you're on Amazon, you can scroll and you can go. I think it's going to give you a place where you can write a review about this book. Let's see if I can see. Yeah, exactly there. And then as you keep going down and everything, you can write that, because it tells you that. Be the first to write a review. So you can click on this right here, and then you can write your own review. Give me a positive one, and I will expect to see that. And so that way you can help me push this thing, to around the world. You know what I mean? So it's important, my friends. And I hope you do that for me. See, when you write a review, you can give how many stars you want. For those of you, who are fan of, good books, you will find that this book is a good one. And so I would encourage you to do that. And if you're going to put a picture or something like that, whatever you want to do, you can do it. Once again, go to Amazon Books, and then you can see that book right here. And it's not the only book I have in Amazon, but this is the one we're talking about today. So you go and then see Learn to Lose a Little, to gain much more in return, understand the law of reciprocity. Okay? So if you hit on the book, so you're going to see this, and then so you can see it very closely. You are. So the image. Go back to this. So make sure you go to the special site of Amazon Books, and it will help you to find it. I guess this is all I have for you today, my dear friend, and we're able to thank you for giving an opportunity to come to you again. We're able to talk about this great book that we have here that God is giving us. See the back of the book and everything, and give you the place where it's been published. Also, you don't need necessarily to go to Amazon. You can go to that publication page, which is CFP, Christian Faith Publishing. Okay, you tap that, and then you look for the book in there, and you'll be able to purchase it from them directly. Okay, so I encourage you to do so. Tell your friends about it. Like I said, we are now in August, so pretty soon you're gonna go to Thanksgiving, so you can make an arrangement to buy a good book if you want to do that to your friend, to whoever. Also, birthdays coming up every time. There's birthdays every day. There's not a day there's no birthday. So whoever is having a birthday, you just have to, or you can celebrate somebody's spiritual birthday also. When you know somebody who was born again, it's such a date, you celebrate with that person. This could be a good, something you can accompany for that spiritual birthday. A good thing. I think this is a good thing to do, to give a book, a real book, a nice book, a very, I would say, important and nice book to somebody for a spiritual birthday, right? Also, you have Thanksgiving coming up, celebrating with family and loved ones. Then you have Christmas next to that, the next big event. Then you have New Year's Eve, beginning in the New Year, so you can celebrate that. And then you can wait until next year, if you want, during the season of Easter season. So you can purchase that book and order it and send it directly to someone that you know, or you can purchase it and give it that